Hello, ladies and gentlemen, this is boy Sam from Armada Trading here, and today we're going to be looking at Sndl growers once again, another fan favourite. You know, we're covering all the fan favourites on this channel, and we are all here for it. And if you want to see more of these videos, please remember to hit the like button and subscribe if you're new. We try and upload daily. We normally try and post 2 videos a day, one from myself, one from Josh. And what we are trying to do is give you all different perspectives, because the way myself and Josh analyse stuff is very different. Josh does it via price action, whereas myself, I do it through graphical analysis and more statistical analysis. So with that being said, please remember to hit the like button and subscribe if you're new, and let's get on with the video. So unless you've been hiding under a rock, I'm now going to tell you exactly what Sndl growers is, and I'm going to give you a company profile of what they actually do. So Sndl Growers Incorporated engaged in the production, distribution and sale of cannabis products for the adult use market. It is also involved in the production, distribution and sale of ornamental plants and herbs in the United Kingdom. The company offers its products under the top leaf Sndl Cannabis, Palmetto and Grasslands brands. Sndl Growers Incorporated was incorporated in 2006 and is headquartered in Calgary, Canada. So that's a quick company overview, and we'll get on to the shareholder statistic. So the reason why Sndl Growers is always so popular is that we own a very vast majority of the company. We actually own 98.89% of the company, and that's us retail investors. We have invested heavily into this, and that is due to the hype around the Reddit Wall Street bets. You know, all of us have been getting hyped about this stock, and fair enough, because, you know, they have shown signs of growth. So that is why this has been part of the Reddit sort of band, and that is why we own a very large majority of Sndl Growers. And also, they have a 0.52% of bank/investment bank, 0.47% of hedge funders, 0.43% of individual/insiders within the company, 0.13% of traditional investment, 0.04% of family offices, and the rest of it is pretty irrelevant. So you get the understanding that we own a very large majority within Sndl Growers, so we influence the price, we influence what happens within the company, and we can we can decide the direction of where the company is going. So it's important for you to all have an understanding of where Sndl Growers actually gets its revenue from. Now, majority of their revenue comes through cannabis, and that is an 83.79% of their whole entire revenue comes from cannabis, and 16.21% comes from ornamental flowers. So you get the understanding of where their revenue is coming from. And I could also tell you that currently their biggest target market is within Canada. So their operating income in Canada is 63.46 million, and their operating income in the United Kingdom is 12.3 million, and that is an 83 to 16% ratio split between Canada and the United Kingdom. So that's a quick overview of their revenue streams, and let's go on with the financial statistics. So to take into account that Sndl will have their earnings report, which is currently got an estimated date of the 29th of March 2021, which is going to be the next quarter of their earnings/reports. So we have to wait about another month to get their up-to-date data for you all to sort of make a better judgment of where this company is financially and where they have grown as a company. Now, moving into Sndl's financial report, their actual Q3 earnings were they weren't a lot less. They were like a bit less than what their Q2 was. Now, there is only it's a very small margin. Like, I think it works out at like 500,000, which in the grand scheme of things isn't that much. So they have gone down from their last quarter, and that would be in June, I think. So their last quarter would have been in June, and their most recent report would have been September. So although they have gone down, like in terms of their whole company cash flow, this isn't up-to-date data, and I think that Sndl, because of the legalization of cannabis within the US under the Biden administration, is going to eventually go up. And I also want to touch upon as well their company assets. Let me quickly go to their financials. We'll go for quarterly. So their quarterly cash flow, you see, it is up compared to what it was in 2019 Q4 and 2020 Q1. Then we saw a massive spike in the 2020 Q2, and it has gone down since. So they have had to take out more liabilities. That means that, so they have more liabilities than what they do assets, and that is their ability to pay back debt. So their ability to pay back debt has gone down from their last quarter. However, with all of this new legalization of cannabis within the US, is that going to have a snowball effect on where the company is going to be able to go within the future? And that is exactly what we're going to find out next. So I thought we'd have a quick read about this article, and it's from the San Francisco Chronicle. Now, again, I don't know US newspapers. I live in the UK, right? So I do not know if this is a good newspaper. I don't know what it is, but it looks good to me. So we're going to read it, right? So if you have any other sort of like resources that I could use, then feel free to leave it in the comment section down below. And I'd love to like read up about all of the most recent news that's going on in the world, especially in America at the moment. So what it says is, we know that President Biden's immediate focus needs to be on the nation's crisis agenda, turning back the pandemic, restoring our economy, and repelling the attacks on our democracy. We only expect that once the administration gains the upper hand of the American renewal, it can find the time and create a space to unwind the drug war, starting with a rethink of national cannabis policy. Now, what the whole idea about this whole cannabis legalization thing is that right now in a lot of places there has been a major drug problem due to COVID. People are inside, they have nothing to do. So what are they doing? They're either, like, a lot of people have been self-harming and things like that, and, you know, taking drugs. And although it's bad, a lot of people have been doing it for recreational use. And you just have to take into account that when things go back to normal again, is legalizing cannabis going to be a good way of sort of stabilizing that sort of negative aura that we've had, like having to stay inside all the time? It could really help, actually, in the grand scheme of things. And also, I think medicinal cannabis is already legal in the US in some states as well. So if it's legal for recreational and medicinal use, sorry, I can never say that word, then I can see Sndl really taking off in price. And I'm not sure about all of you, but genuinely, like, if this does actually happen and Biden completely legalizes cannabis, then we're going to see massive spikes in Tilray and Sndl. It's going to be absolutely insane, and I'm here for it. We love making money, baby. We love it. And I know you all love it as well. So we're now going to get into the graphical analysis of Sndl, so don't go anywhere. So moving on to the graphical analysis. At the start of yesterday, we saw a massive buy into Sndl, which increased the price to $1.48, which is absolutely huge. Sndl, it hasn't reached that height in quite a while, because the last time it did that, it almost took off. So the last time it did that, actually, it did hit higher than that before. So we slightly seen these little spikes that are showing signs of growth, and that is because we influence the price. Now, the whole thing with price action is when people buy, it shows demand for a company. And what happens is that demand turns into price action. And what happens is the price action essentially goes up. Now, when we saw these red spikes, as you see, that correlated with the volume, because we saw a sell-off. As soon as it hit this height here, people started selling. And what we saw it go down. And every bit of volume correlates to the price, especially when a stock like this, when we own a large majority of Sndl. So if everyone was buying, what would happen is that would show a massive increase in the demand for this stock, and it would essentially inflate the price of Sndl. Now, obviously, there has to be an ounce of realism in our price scale, because Sndl, you have to think of what it's actually worth. Now, in the grand scheme of things, Sndl is currently overvalued. Now, the reason for that is because it's a hype stock, and it is susceptible to that short squeeze, which we have been talking about. And people in Reddit, they have been hyped about this short squeeze. And I'm going to touch upon what the short squeeze is shortly. But before we do that, we are going to quickly do a quick graphical analysis. So what we're going to do is we're going to draw a level support here. And what you're actually seeing is a very mellow point. Now, this has 1, 2, 3, almost 4. Actually, it does have 4, pretty much 5 touch points on this level of support here. So this is a very strong level of support. And it's actually created quite a nice little flag point here. Now, if we quickly do this from up here down to this mark there, you see we are in quite... It's becoming quite a bearish flag, actually. Like, not a very steep bearish flag, but it's a bearish flag nonetheless. And what happens in bearish flag? We go up. And if it breaks this, well, when it eventually hits over here, we're going to see either if it go up or it's going to go down. And in the sense of where the formation's at, and the fact that it's got a very strong support structure there with 5 touch points, I think that this stock's going to create a new support structure. And I think it's going to be around the 1.43 mark. And I should probably put a disclaimer in this video that I'm in no way, shape or form a financial advisor. And please take anything I say with a pinch of salt. Stocks are battlefields. You can lose all of your money. But it's our job to scout the battlefield for you. However, we cannot fight it for you. So be sure to do your own research, devise your own strategies before entering into these stocks. Now, getting back into this. So, because we see this level of, well, we see this breakout here, what I'm expecting to happen is it to go up to 1.4 and sort of create its own different support structure up there. And what I'm going to quickly try and draw, we'll do the golden selection thing, right? And if I go from down here up to, oh, I did that wrong. Hold on. So the touch point, so from down here, which is almost the lowest point it has been recently, to up here. So the 100% hitting that. What you're actually seeing is where this could go. Now, I think that this right here, this 61.8% band, I think this is going to be the likely next level where it's going to create a support structure where it's very unlikely to fall below that in quite a while. And that is due to the stock actually having, it's got substance to it, and when people are investing in this stock, it shows demand for the stock, and it will keep that price as long as people don't sell off. And that is my 2 cents about the graphical analysis, and feel free to leave your thoughts down below. I'm very interested to know them because, you know, I'm learning as much as you're learning. So if you can feed back knowledge to me, I'll be more than happy to go through it. And, you know, if I make a mistake, let me know as well. So let's get on with the short interest. So the most recent up-to-date short interest data. So right now, it's currently at 17.08%. However, the day before that, it was at 30%. And what I have to consider here is where was this buyback? Because looking at the graph, I did not see that much buyback really. And I don't see how this figure could have actually come from all of the volume that was getting put into the stock yesterday. So, do I think this is a manipulated figure? Maybe. But I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt like I always do. I'm not going to say that it's manipulated because you just don't know. It's the stock market. Things happen. So, I mean, what I think is probably at, though, is I think it could be around the 24 mark. Because we did see that big increase at the start, and then we saw a sell-off. So, potentially, within that sell-off, they did start buying. Now, we also have to take into account that they still have 10 million shorts available. So, we could see short ladder attacks. But this isn't up-to-date data, though. If this was up to date, I would be more concerned because I genuinely think they probably shorted this a bit because it was at the $3 mark, like not too long ago. And we saw that massive spike up before it came back down. And genuinely, I think that could have been part of what the buyback was. But it wasn't the short squeeze. Do not get it twisted. But we are going to see the short borrow fee rate at 3.02%, which is actually very low. So for these hedge funders and whoever is shorting this stock, this is a pretty nice discount for them. I'm not gonna lie, that is not a very high short borrow fee. Compare that to AMC, where it was was it AMC? Which company was it we looked at before? Oh, there was a company I literally just did an analysis about, and it was at 18% borrow fee rate, which is just insane. Like, imagine having to pay back 18%, like, sort of a borrow fee rate. That is, like, that's insane. But, so, my general consensus is that SNDL could still be susceptible to a short squeeze. However, things are going to have to happen for that. Things are going to have to take place for that to happen. And one of those is people are going to have to hold the stock for it to not depreciate in value. And secondly, don't sell. Because if you sell, then you are basically giving in to what these shorters are doing. So you are literally giving them their stocks back for cheaper than what they currently want it for. However, you do what you want with your own money. I am not in no way, I'm not in the place to tell you exactly what to do with your money. I am here to tell you my thoughts on what SNDL is probably going to do. So, with that being said, I hope you have all enjoyed this video. If you have, please remember to hit the like button and subscribe for new. It really helps the channel, and I can't thank you all enough for giving us a platform to present our thoughts on. This has been your boy Sam from Armada Trading. I'll see you in the next video on the channel. Take care, everyone.